Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of this series of interviews. This one is called Black on White, where white labels will speak in clarity about their solutions and what they have to offer. Today, we are presenting Akurateco, and we have with us Anastasia Brenner, CCO at Akurateco. Hello, how are you?
I am good, thank you. And you?
I'm good, thanks. Okay. So can you tell us briefly about Akurateco?
Sure. So, Akurateco is a global payment infrastructure. It's a white label payment gateway with payment orchestration layer included. It's built for PSPs, acquiring banks, and enterprise merchants, and we cover all the technical aspects of the payment processing so that clients can focus on the business side. Essentially, imagine that you have a payment gateway, but it's already built by a team of experienced in the payment processing field people. And we put your name, your URLs, your logos, colors everywhere so your clients see you and not us in any way. But you have this brand new technology that you run as your own. We help companies launch and scale payment infrastructure fast without spending years and millions on developing technology in-house. This platform includes a lot of functionality like routing, cascading, balancing, billing, anti-fraud plans, different tools to track transaction, analytics, tokenization, and 600 plus integrations with different acquirers, PSPs, APMs, wallets, open banking. Essentially, we are your technical development team in-house.
Cool. Thank you very much for your introduction. And so um, you mentioned the orchestration, and you mentioned what how you enter in 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 these businesses.
Mhm.
But Akurateco often comes in after there's already some complexity in payments, right? What chaos do you usually walk into?
Yeah, I can say so. Definitely chaos. Most of times we come in already with payments are complicated. Different scenarios, different ways it can happen. I can just share a couple of examples. So it can be a legacy system in place that was built years ago. It still works fine, but it cannot keep up with the market anymore. New integrations take forever, routing is limited, and many things are still manual. So emotionally, it is quite hard to let go of this in-house system. It's a lot of time and effort spent to build this in-house, to maintain it. And also there's a psychological part to it. So some people just think that owning technology is the key to success. And this is the only way to run the business. But once they let it go, it turns out that they can cut costs on maintaining an old dinosaur system and channel their resources into business direction. They can provide better solutions to their merchants and also offer more payment options and more channels by focusing on this specific direction and not like spreading around all different activities. The other cases is when we're entering and there is like a circus of different connections already in place. It can be with a PSP or with a merchant. They've integrated some providers already. They might even have some basic orchestration they developed, but it's all very dispersed. There is no logic behind it. There is no system that can work as one organism. Routing is basic, failover is messy, and performance is not managed. On the payment page, you are forcing the payers, so you can see that there are like multiple payment options for the same method, let's say cards, and they have to manually choose those providers. So even they cannot use cascading in these cases, which is losing a lot of transactions this way. So the flow is basically random. And sometimes approvals don't go up, they go down instead because traffic is sent to the wrong way by mistake, and there is no safety net to help protect it with backup myths in the cascading. And sometimes there is a more emotional aspect. After a breakup with another white label, clients come tired and frustrated and scared. They had weak support, limited control, they felt locked in. In those cases, our job is more support than technical. We have to help them take control back and start trusting the world again. With such clients, sometimes they're trying to rewrite our whole agreement completely just to add as many clauses possible that can protect them from unwanted outcomes, or that so that they can leave this relationship as fast and easy as possible because they experienced it before. So with this chaos, there can be different scenarios like technical, operational, or emotional, but the goal is always the same: build structure, clear rules, and bring control back to the payments.
Cool. That's a that's a nice overview. Thank you for that. Um, and you mentioned obviously that clients sometimes come from other platforms. How do you differentiate from other orchestration platforms that are in the market?
In general, if I'm honest, all of the platforms are about the same. It's same routing cascading, same logic behind. What differentiate us is the first thing is focus. So we decided that we have to be focused on something because this way we can be the best, at least in what we're doing. So our focus is we are providing our solutions mainly to PSPs, acquiring banks, and large enterprises that run payments seriously. The platform is built for high volumes, complex routing, and real control, not just like payments, accept payments, and that's it. And because of that, our system is quite complex, but it can also cover absolutely different direction our clients can take. So it can cover different logics for routing. If they want to work with schedules, with recurring payments, they can. If they're missing some parts, they can be added. So I'm slowly getting to the second part, which is flexibility. So we are in general quite flexible. So we're not limiting our clients into strict basics of the platform. In general, it is quite flexible. So we have this functionality, which we call user management, which allows you to give any type of accesses to your users, and you define what kind of accesses you will have essentially. So if you want to build a complex logic behind your different employees, behind your merchants, sub merchants, master merchants, you can do that. If you're missing some functionality, if you're missing any rules or criteria in routing or anti-fraud, it can be added. So we're not limiting any of such things as long as that is helping our clients grow. So we're very supportive in that direction. And the other thing is that we also quite flexible in terms of deployment choices. So our system can be provided as SaaS and as on-premise. And in terms of on-premise, it can be cloud and bare metal setup, which is essential for specific regions where data has to be stored internally in the country. In around GCC markets, around Asia countries, it's very dispersed and every country has their own rules. So we cater for those markets, and it's the only way to cater for those markets. You have to be flexible in terms of the setup. And with acquiring channels, acquiring banks, it's also important to do bare metal, which is of course complicated. It takes a lot of time and efforts, but we still can do it. And we have quite a lot of experience doing that already. After that, we will support them from the technical point of view. So we will still help them with all the data centers, how many of them they need, how many setup they need, and we will help with PCI editors as well. And the fourth, what I think is quite important to mention, which differentiates us, is support, the level of it and the quality. Our clients always mention that to us, and especially every time we're at the conferences and we're meeting a lot of our clients, this is my favorite thing, to get those feedbacks. I mean, of course, the good feedbacks is better, but honestly, all of the feedbacks. So our support is very client oriented. It comes sometimes like with a babysitting, because our clients really need us and we're there for them. But it is important because time and this payment ecosystem is money and is directly connected. So when performance drops or a new opportunity appears, you cannot wait in the line, in the queue with your ticket. You have to get the support. And we are providing the support in the chats and plus through service desk. So you can use both. We truly love what we do. And the platform shows it. It keeps improving based on real clients' feedbacks and real market problems.
That's amazing. You really touched all the points. Flexibility, support, like everything that's needed
Important.
and important
Yeah.
in a good white label solution. You mentioned also different types of clients, merchants, PSPs, um, clients in an emotional chaos as well. So basically, who is the ideal customer for Akurateco?
There is no one ideal customer. It's, I would say, different types of ideal customers. I would say it's around 4 profiles like that. We work with PSPs on the legacy system or that are using a white label, but they are maybe not happy with whatever they have currently. They want to grow, but the system is slowing them down. Integrations take too long, reporting is weak, routing is basic, and every new rule and every new request from the merchant becomes a pain. So they often feel that they cannot support properly, they cannot compete, and because merchants compare them to the more modern PSPs on the market, they expect speed, flexibility, and good analytics. So I would say this is one case. The other case is ISOs or fellow partners. At some point, they become too big and too confident. They have enough acquiring channels, they have merchants, they have partnerships, and they're ready to go and get to the next level where they get the payment platform under their brand, under their own information. They connect their merchants, their channels, and they offer added value in terms of payment orchestration. So they are offering their expertise, their unique relationship with providers. By having those volumes for the merchants, they can influence different, better prices, better solutions from those providers, and they can play this way so that they can provide their competitiveness and their expertise plus their consultations to the merchants so that they can get the best out of it. The third case is acquiring banks. Acquiring banks are trying to stay competitive in this very aggressive PSP world when PSPs are in general are more modern, flexible, faster. Of course, they are getting solutions from acquiring banks, so they cannot be as good. But from the technology point of view, acquiring banks are very outdated. They're using some core banking systems, like BGS CyberSource or anything else. And this is fine to be an acquiring provider. But in order to compete with PSPs, you need to have a payment gateway, a modern payment gateway that merchants expect to see with all this functionality, not just like one channel they are providing, but also maybe add orchestration with different channels like APMs, wallets, crypto, or open banking. So that is one place, one-stop shop, so that merchants can integrate and then get access to all of it. So in order to not lose this market share, and in order to maybe get a bit more in terms of verticals of the merchants and quantities, banks have to do some changes. Abandoning their core banking system is a huge step, and I don't think that acquiring banks can take it anytime soon. But there is a solution. They basically get us, put us on top of their core banking system, and that's way they can become modern. They can maintain all of their legacy infrastructure they're used to, they're convenient with, and then they're getting this layer, which is merchant interfacing. They can run their payment pages. I mean, the merchants can run their payment pages in the back office. They can have the user experience. They can have their reports. They can set up different dashboards. So it's easier and modern for them. And I can see more and more requests like that from acquiring banks because it's a very competitive environment currently. The fourth case is enterprise merchants. Enterprise merchants that are big enough to have huge volumes, but their internal system for processing is not at that level so that it can cover their payment processing. It's not optimized, it's not well developed. Even if they have some basic orchestration layer, I doubt it's as good as whatever payment orchestrators are providing, because this is what their focus. For them, payments is not just a checkout. It's a huge part of revenue and customer experience. They want to improve approval rates, control routing logic, reduce costs, manage risk, and avoid being dependent on just one provider. It's in any case liability, one provider. So having as much as possible is the direction. So they're trying to integrate everything in-house. They're trying to develop everything in-house, but then it gets to the point where they don't have enough expertise. They're very best at what they're doing in terms of their services, but payment processing is different. So they are looking into providers that can cover that for them. And with such clients, we like working because they are ready to take responsibility about their own payment solutions, payment acquirers. And from us, they only expect technology part, which we are more than eager to provide. And by getting orchestration, they are getting more control, more stability, and smart optimization. So in short, I would say that our ICP is any company that is serious or becoming serious about payment processing. And they specifically need to be covered from the technology point of view.
That's interesting. You mentioned 2 points. You mentioned twice about routing logic and clients that have a basic routing, and they end up by seeking you because you have smart routing, right? Um, how do smart routing rules impact real margins for these clients?
Smart routing and routing in general is just a technology. Everyone provides it, and it cannot solve all the issues. The main aspect here is you need to understand what you're working with. If you know all about your acquiring channels, about your acquiring providers, banks, about your APMs, wallets, what markets you're in, what your limitations, approval rates on different channel. If you know that one provider is cheaper, but they have a bit higher conversions, but the other is more expensive, but of course they can, for example, cover more transactions in the region you're in. Having this knowledge, then you can use smart routing in a very logical, very directional way, so that you can set it up the way you need. In general, routing is not just like one thing. It's pre-routing, routing, and then cascading. When you define different rules, you set up settings in a smart way. This way, for payers, for starters, it will be a very user-friendly experience. If I'm coming from Poland, I will see my payment methods on the payment page. And in case I'm choosing cards and something happens, like my transaction's not being processed for some reason, there are some failover options in cascading. This transaction can try again and again. So this is how you can set it up, and then you can get improvement in terms of your approval ratio for up to 40% in some cases. And I know it may sound like a lot because 40% is what exactly they had before. But it's important to understand what we're working with. So if the merchant had like one channel or two channels, no idea what is happening there, just blindly sending transactions, whatever it reaches, and then we'll see how it goes. By understanding what we're working with and how it can be created, we can reach those levels. It's quite possible. And after that, it's not like a random sending to wherever. It's drastic improvement and real logic behind. High approvals means immediate revenue, but it's not only about just revenue. Smart routing also helps with costs because you can send transactions to the right provider with better fees when it makes sense, of course, and avoid pointless retries and reduce declines and push customers away, essentially. In case of declines, you of course have cascading for different set of criteria. You can also limit unwanted transactions with anti-fraud and link it with your routing logic. So with our guidance, clients can not just turn on routing, they can actually build a real performance plan and keep moving and improving it over time.
That's really important to keep the 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 margins in place, right?
Yeah.
Um, Speaking about costs,
Mhm.
with your expertise, what are the common hidden cost misconceptions that you see um, that people have?
Mhm. Well, some providers can market their prices as cheap, so the entry price is very low. But if you go deeper and analyze what this price actually includes, you might be surprised that it's not even covering the basic technology or basic onboarding structure. So later, this costs pile up, and if you add them together, you understand that they are market prices or even higher. Uh, in the end, you might be just unhappy with what you're receiving because you signed up for something cheap and you expected that you will get this whole world changed, and you're ultimately getting like a small piece of the functionality that is not influencing anything for you. With us at Akurateco, we prefer a bit different approach. Our pricing is transparent and minimalistic. We prefer it to be clear from the beginning rather than surprise clients later. Um, I don't like when you have to jump through hoops in order to get prices from providers. Like you have to go on one call, then another, then submit some forms, then promise that you really interested in them, and after that, you might be able to receive some offers. With us, and this is the feedback we're getting, every time we have a new potential lead, there's asking about our services, about our pricing, we just give them all the information they potentially might need in order to understand if that is the solution they want, if that is what they're expecting or looking for. And I believe that it is the better way because you don't have to wait weeks in order to receive information. And then you can just make a choice if that's something that you want or not, and just basically go different directions or go with this provider. If you're trying to be dishonest in this industry, it's very small environment, even though like fintech is huge. But if you go to any conference, like with me, for example, it takes me like 1 minute to meet people I know from my colleagues, ex-colleagues, friends, partners from different companies. And if you misbehave in this environment, ultimately people will know. So my advice, don't do that. Be open in communication, direct, clear pricing, clear structure, and clients really appreciate that.
As always, right? Transparency, like upfront, is always best.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least you know exactly what to count with. Um, and
Honestly, yeah, as a client, I was evaluating CRM system for us, and I was a client. I was being chased by different providers, and it took me at least 2 weeks to get prices from them. I was so frustrated. Like every time, okay, so see you at next call. We'll give you a bit of more portion of the system, a bit of more information, a bit of next step. Like, come on, I just want to have all this information. Why do I have to struggle?
exactly. Um, well, let's say that I'm a client, I'm a merchant, and I want to integrate Akurateco. What is the realistic timeline that I should expect for the integration to be complete?
So there's different types of integrations. If we're talking about merchants integrating with us, we support different types of integration. So it's host to host, which is a more complex one for PCI compliant partners or clients. We have HPP or checkout page. This is very easy, user friendly. You can integrate it like in 1-2 days for the merchants. We also have plugins. We have payment links type of integration, and our system is integrated with a lot of cashiers and merchant platforms. So if merchants are using them, it's easier for them. So this is one way of integrations. The other integrations that we are doing is when our clients, merchants or PSPs are requesting us to integrate more of channels like acquiring partners, APMs, wallets, crypto, anything else. In this case, we have this form list that they have to fill with information. It contains all the information needed, like API documentation, what kind of flows they need, what kind of methods, currencies, test, and live credentials. After that, once we have all of this information, it takes around 2 weeks for us to integrate this integration implemented for one flow, of course, or one sprint. And we can take this integration in the current or the next sprint. We usually schedule the task into the, depending on the workload. So if we can take it in the current sprint, we'll take it. If we have too much of already ordered integrations, we have to move to the next one. Around 15 integrations are being released every month, and we have different teams for connectors, which we call integrations, and features. That's why even we have a workload filled with features, it will not in any way influence the connectors. Technically, it can be faster as some APIs are clear and easy to integrate, but sometimes APIs are not working, or we're getting random errors, or which just happens quite often when we integrate everything and then test in test environment, everything works, and then we switch to live and nothing works. And we have to redo, we have to communicate with the provider, check why it's not working. Then they are on the go trying to rebuild their own API to show us how we can do that. Especially that happens with the different APMs in LATAM or African markets, even if it's a well-developed APM, such things can happen, but especially that is with a new APM that's just appearing, they don't really have described API flow that we can integrate, so it can be a struggle. But in general, we're trying to be realistic in terms of expectations, and we're always trying to be open in terms of like, this is taking time, help us with this, we'll push it as much as we can, but your side from the business point of view, we need them to reply to us, basically.
Rather than speed and being fast, it's more important that it's well done, right? And
Yeah, like you can do it fast, you can do it cheap, or you can do it fast, cheap, and quality. So you can choose either of those. It cannot be three. Choose two.
yeah, exactly. uh, okay, and in your opinion, when should a PSP build instead of going with a white label solution?
The times when people were developing their own solutions in-house from the very beginning, I think passed already. Currently, the most important thing is time to market. Realistically, developing own infrastructure in-house from scratch is a huge investment. It takes at least like 1.5 years to get to MVP, and at least like 3 years in total to get to a level of platform that merchants expect. And you will spend millions on it. It will not happen fast, it will not happen easy. And problem is that payments move fast. So new payments appear, rules change, fraud patterns evolve, and what was modern yesterday is already outdated today. Things move so quickly that if you are stuck in developing your in-house platform for some time, your competitors already selling solutions you wanted to sell, already learning their hard lessons, already experimenting, providing, testing, and getting way further than you are when you're developing something in-house. Time is everything currently. And my recommendation is usually quite simple. So start with a white label, go live fast, test your model, start making some revenues, build relationships, and learn what your clients really need. Later, if you have strong reason, you can build your own technology step by step or even buy source code. But losing momentum early because you're stuck in long development is just too much of a big risk. I see a lot of clients that are coming to us and they're like, okay, we know that we are professionals in what we're doing. We have tons of connections. We have tons of acquiring channels. We have merchants that are trusting us. And we understand that if we start now developing the system, we will go live when? Best like in 2 years, maybe. But all of this time, what we're going to do? Just wait with those connections. Those connections will outdate. Merchants will forget about them. So get as soon as you can into the market, test the water, go live, and see how it goes. You might not find that you like it at all. And ultimately, you don't want to proceed with this direction. Maybe you want to do IBANs or something else, but you already have this technology developed. And what you will do with it?
That's insightful, for sure. Um, Usually, mistakes can be costly, and
That's true.
uh, what's the most expensive mistake that you see founders make?
There's a number of mistakes founders can make in general in payment field. And the first one I would say is some founders, when especially they're coming outside of the payment processing ecosystem, they are thinking that payment processing is so lucrative. They just want to jump in, but they have no idea or background about it. And what they're trying to find is a one-stop solution. So they want to have technology platform with acquiring channels, with licenses, with preferably like even people that handle everything for them. They'll just like pay and go do my business for me. I will put my brand and now I have my business. So this is a biggest mistake you can make, honestly, from my point of view. Never trust into some solutions you have no idea about. You don't know these people. You cannot trust them, because by trusting your money and your clients' money to those providers you have no idea about, you're risking your brand in your face because you are representing your brand. And things can go wrong. Things might not be as easy as you think, especially in the beginning, and you're risking your reputation. After that, you will still have to do something or just run away or start again with the just software, and then trying to build and find providers that you can trust, your merchants money with, that have good approval rates, that have stable settlement plans. So this is, I would say, the first thing you should focus on. The other kind of mistake or misconceptions people are getting is thinking that technology will be the answer to all of your questions, basically coming from the previous question. So just owning technology doesn't mean anything. The most valuable asset you have is your trusted acquiring channels. If you don't have them, don't start a business. Wait until you have those connections, because otherwise having just technology will not cover it for you. Or of course, if you are providing payment orchestration services on our platform, this might work, but still you need to understand what is your target audience, what are your like verticals, what solutions they can work with, and provide this expertise. So that would be my second advice. Other thing is a lot of new founders are getting into. They're trying to be everything to everyone, especially in the very beginning. That's a very bad idea to go with, because you cannot be professional everywhere with all of the verticals, with all of the types of merchants. You need to understand what is your target audience. Let's say what kind of industries or verticals of merchants you want to work with. You need to understand that you have connections there, and it's best to start with someone you already had some experience working before. So maybe you're coming out of telecom industry, start with telecoms, or maybe you used to work with marketplaces, start there, because you already have connections there. You already have friends, ex-colleagues that you can onboard in the very beginning. Find the best provider. So understand their pains, understand what they're struggling, understand what you can offer them, and get those solutions onboarded for specific markets. Then you can get more and more solutions within the same vertical for those kind of clients. After that, you can add more verticals because you will have those volumes that you will be able to influence with your acquiring channels. You'll be able to get better prices, better conditions, faster settlements, lower rolling reserves, and in general, your solutions will be competitive this way. If you try to cover it all in the very beginning, for starters, your technology platform might not be able to do that because you want to cover all of the countries, but it takes time to integrate everything that you potentially might want. And you will not be able to sign all of those providers at the same time. It takes a lot of time and efforts. So be methodical, do it step by step. And another thing is thinking that you have unique solution or unique feature. Nothing is unique anymore. Maybe 10 years ago, a unique thing or a unique solution could be your unique solution for at least a year. Currently, with technology, how they're growing, how everything and everyone can get into contact with basically everyone in this field, these unique solutions or unique features you have maximum for like 3 months. So get fast with those features, with those unique solutions, offer them to your clients, and don't get stuck just with them. Keep adding more and more, keep finding new additional options, directions, top ups, maybe consult with the like how this to be set up or that. So this should be your main asset, your expertise essentially. And always trust your money only to those who you. So for me, the key is simple. You have to build trust first. Technology supports your business, but without trusted relationships and operations, it makes work only this way.
That's very insightful. I think uh, you broke for a split second just when you said trust your money too.
Trust your money, trusted providers, those that you know, those that you can easily go to, that you can influence in any way, only to them.
Okay, that it's clear. Uh, there's a lot of knowledge that's being passed on from this interview, and thank you for that. As you know, like at white labels, we value transparency, we value clarity, we like things to be as clear as possible, so that people know exactly what they're getting, exactly where they're getting into, and what they can count on. It's very important to rely on a partner and to trust a partner when we go with a white label solution, right?
Yeah, of
Let's
course.
go a level deeper. So, tell us a habit that you have that would surprise your team.
A habit. Well, I'm not sure if it's surprising, but I have different hobbies, and those hobbies are mostly about creating decor, I would say. So I paint, I create statues from clay. I like really bright and colorful creations that I then decorate my apartments or give to my friends. That's inspiring for me.
That's awesome. It's wonderful to have like a full interview talking about very technical and very deep uh, knowledge about technology and everything, and then suddenly another part of the person that was talking for that whole time, that it's relatable or not, but it should be
Yeah.
relatable to you.
Yeah, ultimately, we're all humans.
Exactly. That's it. Well, thank you very much, Anastasia, for being with us today and for your interview.
Thank you for inviting.
Always a pleasure. And for everyone listening, thank you for being here. I hope you at least have more clarity from Akurateco and from the technology and from the white label solution that Akurateco provides. And we see you on the next episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, you can contact me LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to help.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye bye.